Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 196 today, number 1. And Robin, I gotta say, this chapter title feels almost ironic given the sheer amount of despair Oda packed into these pages.
It's a very pointed title, Franky. It touches on several characters. Zoro's victory over Mr. One, Crocodile's status as the number 1 man in Baroque works, and even the Tsumegeri Guards' final, number 1 priority, their king. While one fight ends, the real battle feels like it's only just beginning to be lost. We open on the Tsumegeri Guards arriving at the palace, ready to defend their king.
Ready is one word for it. They show up and just stare down a warlord of the sea. You can feel the history in their armor, the weight of their duty, but there's something wrong immediately. The way they look, the marks on their arms. Cobra sees it, Vivi sees it, and the absolute dread on their faces tells you everything you need to know before a single word is spoken.
They drank the hero water, a forbidden substance that grants a massive temporary surge of power in exchange for your life. It's a concept rooted in a terrible, desperate kind of folklore, a devil's bargain. They chose to die for a chance to stop him.
It's one of the most tragic things we've seen yet in a series that is not shy about tragedy. If you're following the crew through thick and thin, through the absolute highs of victory and these devastating lows, make sure you're following the show on whatever platform you're listening on. You don't want to miss a single piece of this story Oda's building.
And this piece is particularly dark. It examines the very nature of sacrifice and the cruel realities of power. Let's get into it.
Right. So the chapter kicks off where the last one left us. Chaka is squared up against Crocodile, ready to throw down to protect the king. He's the acting commander, the last line of defense, and you feel that pressure. But then this whole squad bursts in, the Tsumegeri Guards.
They're the elite warriors of the Arabasta Royal Guard, supposedly second only to Pell and Chaka themselves. Oda makes it clear these aren't just faceless soldiers, which makes what happens next so much more personal. The fact that they managed to get past Miss All Sunday, who we know is no slouch, speaks volumes about their skill and determination.
That's a super good point. We just saw her toy with the Straw Hats and take down Igaram. These guys aren't chumps. They're the elite, and they are single-minded. Cobra, their king, the man they've sworn to protect, is begging them, don't do it, it's a trap. But they just respectfully ignore him. Their loyalty is so absolute that they're disobeying his direct order to try and save him. The irony is just brutal.
It's the ultimate loyalty paradox. In their minds, saving his life supersedes obeying his words. They're acting on the spirit of their oath, not the letter. It's a heartbreaking decision because they truly believe it's the only option left. They've seen their country bleed for years, and they can't stand by any longer.
And Crocodile, man, his reaction, he doesn't even seem surprised. It's like he was expecting this. He just smirks, this lazy, arrogant grin on his face. He gives them one chance to walk away, which is more of a taunt than a genuine offer. He knows they won't. He's just enjoying the theater of it all. He's playing with his food.
It's a display of his supreme confidence. He's not just confident in his own power, but his understanding of human nature, or at least his cynical interpretation of it. He knows that desperation will push good people to do self-destructive things, and he's counting on it. He's orchestrating their despair.
And that's when we see it. Chaka, the guy who fights alongside them, notices these weird marks on their arms. It's not just dirt or battle scars, it's something else. The panel focuses on it, this swirling, tattoo-like pattern. The look on his face, man, it's pure horror. He knows exactly what it is, and he can't believe they went that far.
Vivi and Cobra see it too, and their reaction is even more visceral. They realize what's happened. They've consumed the hero water. A cruel joke in its name. It promises heroism, but only delivers a brief, brilliant flash of power before death. It's not a path to victory. It's a glorified form of self-destruction.
This is just, it's awful. Oda introduces this concept and it's so perfectly tragic for this kingdom. A last resort that guarantees you lose even if you win. A final, desperate act that costs everything. It's not a power-up, it's a death sentence they signed willingly. And you have to wonder, where did this stuff even come from? Is it some ancient relic of a bygone war? Another secret Arabasta keeps hidden?
The lore implications are fascinating. Many cultures have stories of substances or rituals that grant temporary godlike power at a terrible price. The hero water feels like Oda's version of that myth. It suggests a history of conflicts in Arabasta so devastating that such a measure was once deemed necessary. It's a scar on the kingdom's soul, a relic of a time when hope was completely lost.
And they're drinking it to fight a warlord. It feels like they're using an old rusty blade against a cannon. They see Crocodile as this unstoppable natural force, so they have to become one themselves even for a moment. They're trying to match a natural disaster with a self-inflicted one.
It's a choice born of complete desperation. They articulate it perfectly. They've watched their country suffer for years under the drought. They've seen their people, friends, and neighbors turn on each other, manipulated by lies. They believe this is the only way to show Crocodile the depth of their kingdom's pain, to make him feel the weight of their resolve with their very lives.
It's their final protest, their final stand. And what does Crocodile do? Does he meet their resolve with his own power? Does he give them an honorable battle? No. They charge him, screaming, their bodies glowing with this deadly energy, putting every last second of their lives into this one combined attack, and he just turns into sand.
It's one of the most effective displays of a Logia fruit's power we've seen. They don't even make contact. Their ultimate attack, fueled by their own life force, just passes through him like a breeze through a dune. It's utterly and completely nullified.
He reforms behind them without a single scratch, dusting off his coat as if he's just been mildly inconvenienced. And then he sits down on the palace steps. He just sits. He doesn't even grant them the dignity of a fight. He lets the poison in their own veins do the work. He just watches them collapse, their bodies breaking down from the inside, coughing up blood as their strength evaporates. It's one of the coldest, most disrespectful villain moments in the whole series.
He treats their ultimate sacrifice as a mild inconvenience, a bit of theater before the real show. He doesn't see their resolve as noble. He sees it as pathetic. This moment perfectly establishes the chasm between a warlord of the sea and ordinary, even elite warriors. Their lifetime of training, their ultimate sacrifice, it meant absolutely nothing to him.
It's worse than nothing. He actively mocks it. He tells them their resolve is paper thin. He breaks them not just physically, but spiritually in their final moments. He ensures they die knowing they accomplished zero. It's pure psychological warfare.
It's also a commentary on the nature of power in the One Piece world. The Tsumegeri Guards are strong by any normal standard, but Crocodile possesses a power that operates on a different axis entirely. It's a system, the Devil Fruits and the Warlords, that can render conventional strength and resolve meaningless.
And Chaka just loses it. He has to watch his men, his comrades, throw their lives away for nothing. He can't take it. He screams Crocodile's name, and that rage triggers something. He transforms.
We get the reveal. He's a Devil Fruit user, a Zoan. It's a powerful moment, this burst of animalistic fury in the face of such cold, calculated cruelty.
The Inu Inu no Mi model Jackal. It's perfect. The guardian of the kingdom. One of the two jackal-headed deities of Arabasta. Oda's design work is just always so on point. It feels ancient and powerful. His hybrid form looks incredible. That lean, muscular body with the jackal head. It's everything you'd want from a guardian deity.
It's incredibly fitting. In ancient Egyptian mythology, which Arabasta is heavily inspired by, the jackal-headed god Anubis was the protector of graves and the guide to the underworld. Chaka is literally the guardian of a kingdom on the brink of death. He's standing over the bodies of his fallen comrades, trying to protect the tomb that the palace is about to become.
That is chillingly perfect. I hadn't even made that deep a connection. So he's not just a warrior, he's a psychopomp, a guide for the dead. And right now, his kingdom is dying all around him. Wow. He lunges at Crocodile, unleashes an attack called Howling Fangs, and for a split second you get that rush of hope. The art sells it, the speed lines, the claws glinting. You think maybe, just maybe he can land a blow. Maybe a Zoan's physical power can do something.
But he can't. Crocodile turns to sand again. Untouchable. Chaka's claws just pass through his neck, and Crocodile doesn't even flinch. He grabs Chaka's arm, effortlessly stops his momentum, and slams him into the ground. The hope is extinguished as quickly as it appeared.
He looks down on the defeated Chaka and says he's also the type to die for others. He says it like it's a disease, like it's a character flaw. For Luffy and the crew, dying for your friends, for your cause, is the ultimate sign of strength and loyalty. For Crocodile, it's just a weakness he can exploit.
It's a fundamental clash of ideologies, and Oda puts it right in our faces. Luffy's strength comes from his bonds and his desire to protect others. Crocodile's strength comes from his willingness to use and discard everyone around him. He believes trust is for fools and that true power lies in absolute self-interest. And right now, in the dust of the palace courtyard, Crocodile's cynical, cruel worldview is winning.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal opening. It just drains all the hope out of the room. But the chapter cuts away from that despair for a minute and takes us back to Zoro.
A much-needed shift in tone. We see the aftermath of his fight with Mr. One. Daz Bones is on the ground, defeated, his steel body carved up, and he's just in awe of Zoro's growth. He understands that he wasn't just beaten by a stronger opponent. He was a stepping stone for someone on a completely different journey.
He literally asks him, "What's next? You're gonna try cutting diamond?" It's a rhetorical question, meant to be the next impossible task. And Zoro's reply is legendary, just deadpan, lying in a pool of his own blood. That'd be a waste.
It's such a Zoro line. No grandstanding, no celebration, just a simple factual statement from his perspective. It's not arrogance, it's just focus. He's already looking past this level of strength. He's thinking about his ultimate goal, and everything else is just a step on that path.
He did it. He achieved something he couldn't do against Mihawk. He learned to cut steel. He beat the guy made of blades. And his immediate reaction is just on to the next. That's the mindset of the future world's strongest swordsman right there. There's no time to celebrate because the mountain is still there to be climbed.
But it came at a monumental cost. After that one line, he just collapses. The panel pulls back and you see the sheer amount of blood he's lost. The gash across his chest is horrifying. He pushed his body far, far beyond its limits to achieve that breakthrough.
Victory isn't clean. It isn't easy. Every single one of these fights has taken a massive toll on the crew. Zoro's passed out cold. Luffy is, well, we'll get to that. It reminds you that they're not invincible. These aren't just cool power-ups they unlock. They have to tear themselves to pieces to reach the next level.
It grounds the achievement. He didn't just have an epiphany and unlock a new video game skill. He had to understand the breadth of all things. It was a philosophical and spiritual awakening that he could only reach on the absolute brink of death. He tore himself apart to achieve it, and the physical cost is laid bare for us to see.
From there, we check in with Sanji, Chopper, and Usopp, who are making their way to the palace, and we get this hilarious little flashback to Usopp complaining about having to be with the camel, Matsuge, and demanding Sanji help them out.
Sanji's response is classic. I only help ladies. His chivalry is a law of nature, completely inflexible. Even when his crewmates are exhausted and injured, his personal code is absolute.
Bro, it's so good. It's a perfect moment of levity in a deadly serious chapter. Usopp and Chopper are in genuine trouble, and Sanji's first instinct is to check if any women are involved. Never change Sanji. It's a character trait so strong, it's basically his secondary devil fruit.
But then we snap back to the present, and the mood shifts dramatically. The comedy evaporates in an instant. Sanji, ever the perceptive one, asks Usopp why he's been crying. He notices the subtle things.
And Usopp tells him. His voice is trembling. He says Miss Merry Christmas told him that Luffy's dead, and your heart just sinks. Because from what we've seen, it's true. Or at least we know Luffy lost. He's been defeated,
impaled, and buried in sand. For all intents and purposes, he is dead.
For Usopp, this is the worst possible news. He already struggles with cowardice and self-doubt. His entire journey is about becoming a brave warrior of the sea. Luffy is his captain, his unbreakable pillar of strength. Hearing that that pillar has fallen, it would be world-shattering. It validates all his deepest fears, that they're not strong enough, that this is all a mistake, that they're going to die.
But Sanji doesn't even flinch. He doesn't show a single flicker of doubt. He takes a drag from his cigarette and just immediately says, "Don't be stupid. Don't you ever believe that." He doesn't have any proof. He hasn't seen Luffy. He just knows.
It's pure, unadulterated faith, not just in Luffy's strength, but in his nature, in the promise he made to Vivi. Sanji understands that Luffy losing a fight is not the same as Luffy giving up or dying. As long as there's something to protect, as long as a friend is crying, Luffy will get back up. It's a fundamental truth of their universe as far as Sanji is concerned.
He's the perfect person to be there in that moment. Zoro is the one who pushes Luffy to be a better captain, but Sanji is the one who has this unwavering, almost quiet belief in him. He's the cool head. He gets them focused again. Our job is to get to the palace. Let's go. He's taking charge, keeping the mission alive while the captain is down. It's a huge moment for the wings of the Pirate King.
We also get a very brief check-in with Nami. It's just a panel or two, but it's important.
Yeah, she's untangling her climb attack from the wires around Miss Doublefinger, which is a great little detail. The fight is over, she won, and now it's just the messy cleanup. It's a small, realistic moment that I love.
She hears the sounds of the rebellion getting closer, the cannon fire and the screams, and knows she has to move. The whole crew is now converging on the final location. All the individual duels are settled. Their paths are merging again.
Every single Straw Hat who had a one-on-one with a Baroque Works officer has won. Let that sink in for a second. Usopp and Chopper took down a team. Nami, the weak navigator, took down a trained assassin. Sanji beat Mr. 2. Zoro beat Mr. 1. They have systematically dismantled Crocodile's elite officer agents. By all accounts, they should be on the verge of victory.
And yet, as you said at the start, it feels like they're further from victory than ever, because the final scene takes us right back to the palace, to the heart of the problem.
Right back to the nightmare. Chaka is defeated, lying at Crocodile's feet. Vivi and Cobra and what's left of the royal army can only watch in horror. Crocodile stands there, completely unscathed, the victor. The situation looks completely, utterly hopeless.
And then a voice calls out to Vivi, an unknown figure off screen, just her name, Vivi-sama.
We have no idea who it is. It just cuts off there, leaving you hanging. But that's not even the biggest bombshell of the chapter. Oda hits us with a 1-2 punch. The final panel, a shot of the massive clock tower in the center of Alubarna.
A timer, a crude but effective one, counting down fast.
A massive bomb is set to go off in the city's main square, and there are only 25 minutes left on the clock. 25 minutes to stop an explosion that will wipe out both armies, the rebels and the royals, and everyone else in the capital.
It's Crocodile's final perfect move. He engineered a civil war to tear the country apart, and now he's going to physically obliterate both sides in a single blast. He will be the only one left standing, the hero who can then take over. So even if the Straw Hats can somehow beat Crocodile, they have to find and disarm a city-destroying bomb in less than half an hour.
The stakes just keep rising. It's not just about beating the bad guy anymore. It's not just about saving Vivi's kingdom emotionally. It's a literal race against time where failure means the entire country is annihilated. What a cliffhanger to leave us on.
Oda is a master of raising the tension just when you think it can't get any higher. All the separate plot threads are about to crash together in this one location with a ticking clock counting down to total destruction. Everything is coming to a head right now.
For sure. Man, I am stressed just talking about it. Before we get into what might happen next, let us know in the comments who you think that voice is calling out to Vivi. We've got our own ideas, but we want to hear yours.
Okay, predictions for chapter 197. The clock is ticking. What do you have, Franky?
All right, prediction 1, that voice is Pell. It has to be. He took that massive explosion from Miss All Sunday point blank, but this is One Piece. We never saw a body. He's the other guardian of Arabasta, a falcon Zoan. Falcons are symbols of rebirth and victory. He survived somehow, probably horribly injured, and he's back for the final battle to protect his princess. It's the dramatic return I'm certainly hoping for.
That's the hopeful theory. It would certainly provide a much-needed morale boost. I like it. What else?
Prediction 2, Sanji, Usopp, and Chopper are going to be the first Straw Hats to arrive in the palace square. Sanji's the tactician. He knows where the center of the conflict is, and he's leading them there now. They'll be the ones who discover the bomb in the clock tower. It makes sense, right? Sanji's the smart guy. Usopp is the one who deals with gadgets and gunpowder. This is going to be their moment to shine on a grand scale, not just in a one-on-one fight.
Putting the bomb plotline in their hands. That's an interesting distribution of responsibility. I can see that. Okay, my turn.
Let's hear it. Lay some of that historian knowledge on me.
My first prediction is that the voice is not Pell. While I agree it would be a powerful moment, I think that would be too simple, too expected. I think it might be Mr. 2, Bon Clay. Think about it. He developed a real, genuine friendship with the Straw Hats on the Going Merry. He was moved by their camaraderie. He's currently at large, and his devil fruit ability is perfect for infiltration. He's the one person who could impersonate someone, get close, and maybe try to help Vivi escape while Crocodile is distracted.
Whoa, a Bon Clay face turn right now in the middle of the final battle? That would be a wild twist, but you're right, it fits his character. He lives by his own code, the Okama way. Helping his friends would be a part of that. I can see it. What's your second one?
My second prediction is that Crocodile is going to completely ignore the Straw Hats when they start to arrive. His goal isn't just to destroy the country. That's a means to an end. He wants Pluton. His entire focus is going to shift to King Cobra. He's going to try and force him to reveal the location of the poneglyph, treating everyone else, Chaka, the Straw Hats, the Royal Army, as gnats. The bomb is just an instrument to create the chaos he needs to act, not his endgame.
So the crew has to fight for his attention while also trying to stop the bomb. They'll be trying to save the kingdom, and he'll be focused on something else entirely. That adds another layer of insane pressure. I love it. Man, next chapter can't get here soon enough.
It's the final act of the Arabasta saga. Everything that has been built up since Whiskey Peak is on the line, right here, right now.
And that's it for this episode of Inherited Dawn. Thank you for joining us on this emotional roller coaster. We'll be back next time to see if anyone can possibly stop that clock. We'll see you then.